My name is Tessa Mancini Gillen. I am from Maui, Hawaii. I moved to California to go to Sonoma State, where I studied biology. I was a pre-med major and started my education with that as my agenda, really thinking I wanted to go into kind of the Western medical model. And towards the end of my college education, one of my professors approached me and said, "Hey Tessa, I know you pretty well and I know what you're passionate about. I know what you're looking into, and there's this great school called the California School of Herbal Studies that I think is going to be a really good fit for you." So I went and checked it out and I fell in love and I dove in for the next 4 years, where I studied everything from Western herbal medicine to medicine making to using herbs in food to growing your own herbs, etc. And I came out of there totally excited to start to work with people and wanted to start my own practice, and just really dove head in and found out pretty quickly that working primarily as a herbalist, there's a really big disconnect with people in this community in particular about, are herbs safe? Is it going to do anything? My doctor said I shouldn't do this. A lot of fear-based information. So I was in this spot of, okay, well, how do I get this information out to people? And there was like a missing piece to the puzzle, and I knew that, and I didn't really know how to bridge that gap. And so I started doing research, started looking around. A few friends referred me to Bauman College. I came and sat in some classes, and it immediately was like, oh, like light bulb moment goes off. Like, of course, food is the missing piece. And food is this wonderful area where you can meet everybody on some level. Everybody chooses to eat at least 3 meals a day. And you can really affect change by working with people with what's on their plate, what's in their kitchen, what's in their oven or stove or garden or whatever it might be. And that was kind of the beginning of this journey of being able to help people shift their lives and become healthier and develop a relationship with the food that they're actually eating. So I grew up in Hawaii, in Maui, and while I might not have known it at the time, the 18 years that I spent there, that I grew up there, really became the foundation for my relationship with food, my relationship with plants, my relationship with myself. And I'd have to say one of the biggest gifts, I think, so far in this lifetime that I've been given was my mother. When I was really young, maybe 5 or 6 years old, she took it upon herself and she got me involved in hula. And I know most people outside of Hawaii probably hear hula and think of a beautiful dance, and it is beautiful, but the dance itself is just the tip of the iceberg. That's just an expression of a much larger, intricate, deep picture of what that really means. And my mother found a wonderful woman who was willing to take me under her wing. And from a very young age, I started to really learn about the culture of Hawaii and what that means. And so in hula, before you dance what you're going to dance about, it's an expression, a dance. You're telling a story. And that story has everything to do from what phase of the moon was going on at that time, where were the winds, what was the tide, what was your landscape, what flowers were in bloom, what plants were in abundance, what was coming down, what animals were around, and you learn all of this before you learn the dance. And then you visit these places and you pay homage and respect to the land, and you begin to develop a relationship with the place before you even dance the song. And so then you're harvesting flowers to make leis that you'll wear. You are harvesting tea leaves or other things that you're going to make your skirts with. You are harvesting plants to make dye with. You are collecting things to make your instruments with. And it's developing a very, very deep relationship with the ecosystem around you. And then comes the dance, and then comes the expression of this story that you're telling about that tide or that moon or that bird or that plant. And I might not really have known it then, but that was really the core foundation for my relationship with food and nutrition, and having a relationship with my ecosystem, and learning about where does this food come from, and how do you get it, and how the practices of hunting and gathering, and how traditionally this was done in other cultures. And when I started my education at Bauman, they kind of told us within the first maybe 2 weeks of school, it's really important to pick an emphasis, pick some sort of path to go down, because if you try to do it all, you're going to get lost. You need to have some sort of specialty. And I didn't really know what that was, and I wasn't really clear on that. And so I continued with the program, and probably around week 3 of being a student, I became pregnant. And I had this moment of like, can I even do this? Should I put this on hold? Should I wait? Should I come back to this at a different time? And I mean, every single student in my class, every faculty member, every teacher really took the time to let me know, like, if you choose to do this, we're gonna help you get through it. We're gonna make sure you get through it. And it's not gonna be an issue. It's not gonna be a problem. You're gonna be just fine. So I took a deep breath, and I was like, okay, like, let's just do this then. And so without really thinking too hard about it, I kind of found my path in terms of what I was going to study. And so the first 9 months of the program, I really just dove headfirst into prenatal nutrition, and what do you need to grow a really, really healthy baby, and how do you have food be that vessel. And like some things in life, spring break rolled around. I had a baby during spring break, took 3 weeks off, and then came back, and my son came with me every day to school thereafter. And between my professors holding my baby, to my classmates holding my baby, to him just sitting in a little car seat next to me and listening the whole time, we did it, and we made it through. And my second half of the program naturally just became about postpartum health, wellness, child development. It really just kind of found itself for me. I got lined up and began to do an internship with a company called COTS, Community on the Shelter List, which was working with the homeless population of Sonoma County. And I had the honor and the privilege to get to work with pregnant moms and families with young kids who are homeless, who are eating out of soup kitchens, who are using food stamps, and trying to work with the system that they're in, and how do you actually improve their health? How do you actually make sure that their babies are getting what they need? How do you actually ensure that you get proper nutrition through that kind of restrictive system? And then you go into the real world and you start to work with real families who that's just not realistic, and the options that are out there for them are really, really restrictive. And so starting to learn how to do good food shops on a budget, how do you manage your way through a soup kitchen, how do you navigate that to get the biggest bang for your buck, to actually make sure that you're getting what you need, what your child needs. And that was really, really eye-opening work. And from there, I began working with midwives in the San Francisco, Santa Cruz area, all up and down that coast. And now have landed up at the Thrive Center for Birth and Family Wellness in Santa Rosa. I also have had the real honor and privilege to develop curriculum to teach at Bastyr. I've been able to develop my own program about food and cooking for pregnancy and postpartum that I teach in the midwifery department. So I get to actually work alongside all of these midwives that are going to go out into the world and work with all of these new mothers and families. When I talk to women about getting better food into their diet, or working one-on-one with me with nutrition, or seeing someone for prenatal chiropractic work, or seeing someone for pregnancy massage, all of these alternative modalities that can really benefit women when they're pregnant, the number one thing that comes back to me of why people can't do it is because of cost. And that's just not okay. Like, we as a community, we need to start to be able to hold each other up and fill in the gaps where people's needs aren't being met, and this is a big one. So we have started a nonprofit called Friends of Thrive, where we raise money to get low-income women in this community these services that, in my opinion, should be free, but we all have to make a living. So trying to get midwifery care, trying to get nutrition, trying to get food delivery service, trying to get yoga, among other things, to the low-income population of our community.